I think they'll go all the way to the final, to be honest. Yeah. I believe in my county, and I suppose they're good at football. They just have to believe in themselves.
I love playing 12, I love playing 10. I love being on the pitch, to be honest.
Are you confident?
Absolutely not.
No!
Thank you for all the supporters. Thank you for the team. Thank you, France. Merci la France. Merci les baguettes. Merci les croissants. Je vous aime. I love you.
Hey all, happy Thursday and welcome along to Word on the Street, where every week we take a sporting topic, something that's dominating the headlines, and we take it to the public and we find out what they think. If you're watching this, I'm so sorry that I look like I've been hit by a bus, and if you're listening, I'm sorry that I sound like I'm underwater. I'm deathly ill. It's flu season.
Surely everyone's going to be doing one or the other.
Yeah, honest God. But Eve, Rachel, I hope you're feeling better than I am.
For now, anyway.
Yeah, I feel like I'm coming down with something, but I'm in that kind of, I'm okay still.
Well, after today in this enclosed studio, you may not be feeling
Which
so great.
Which is like 30 degrees and so warm in here.
So warm. If we look like we're in a sauna soon, it's because
we are. Yeah. There should be like a cold plunge in the production box at this stage, I think.
Oh, I love that idea. Yeah. We're bringing it in. But this is episode 19 and we're calling it Touchdown in Dublin. And if you can't tell if you can't tell what that's about, you just have to take one step around Dublin today and it's absolutely teeming with Americans here for the NFL.
Yeah, it's everywhere. I just got up Tuesday evening and the minute I stepped off the Lewis, it was like bang.
Yeah.
The NFL is in town, like they weren't messing.
No, I was out for dinner on Monday night and the whole restaurant was just crammed with Americans. Like they've really come in force and they've come like for the full thing. They're not just flying in for the weekend. They're really making a holiday out of this.
Because I feel like if you're travelling so far for a game, you're as well to stay for like a week or 2 weeks. It's not the same as like people in Ireland who fly over to the UK for soccer games, like the Premier League games. You can do back and over. You can, fly out on the 6 a.m. Ryanair and back home at like 10. They're making a really big long holiday out of it. And you can, the restaurants are packed, the pubs are packed, all the museums around the city are mobbed. It's a gret atmosphere.
Yeah, we're going to get into the nitty gritty of it, but there was an estimate that the Irish economy they're going to make like 63 million euro off this one event.
I wonder how much, I'd love to see, and I'll look this up later maybe, a comparison of how much something like the Oasis concerts made. Like it's been a really big summer or big few months for events in Dublin. And in fairness, all the infrastructure has been handling it really well.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
I was thinking this, how lucky are they that they got absolute splitting sunshine this week?
Yeah. Ireland's putting on a bit of a performance.
Such a show. If you wanted a better ad for Dublin and like Ireland and Fulcher Ireland, I saw somebody that this whole thing is basically an ad for Fulcher Ireland and like they've done it so well.
Yeah, because even the branding around the whole city, like they've at the Lewis Stop and Steam screen, there's like a massive,
the big
NFL football.
Yeah.
And like
have I missed that? What is that?
It's just like
it's
up on top
huge.
of. You probably didn't see it because it's where you tap your leap card. I feel like you get on the Lewis for free, do you, Eve?
I absolutely do
God,
not.
we're outing her here.
I do not. I'm a very law-abiding citizen. Because I get off at Steep and Screen every day, but I feel like I'm so just. I have one goal, and that's to get to work without falling asleep on the Lewis or something like that. So
there's a big, basically on top of the Lewis station, there's a massive NFL ball.
That's crazy.
Sculpture thing. I do think it looks great. We'll get into kind of how we feel about it all and how the public feel about the NFL arriving here. But from first glance, it does look great. But we were talking about kind of the amount of fans who are travelled over, and we were chatting today to a Steelers fan on kind of why he made the trip to Dublin.
Everyone's a Steeler fan.
Everyone's a Steelers fan. Okay. And have you travelled abroad to watch the NFL before?
No, first time.
No. So why did you choose this one?
Kind of a lifetime experience. Just a cool place to go. Dublin seemed like a fantastic city and decided to try it. Friends coming, so decided to give it a shot.
Okay, so is it more, you're travelling more to see Ireland than to necessarily see the game?
It's a combination of both, but the fact that the Steelers are here, there's a long family tie with the Steelers and the Rooney family to Ireland, and we're all Steeler fans, so the combination's really exciting.
Talk to me, Eve, about this Irish heritage, because I'm not going to lie, this was the first I heard of it this week.
This was really interesting to me, kind of personally. I was doing a bit of a deep dive into the Rooney family. And I was listening as well to our very own Mick McCarthy, senior producer at Off the Ball. He was on News Talk this morning talking a bit about this event. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, owned from their inception by the Rooney family, who hail from Newry in County Down. So I think Art Rooney, who founded the Steelers, his great-grandparents came over from Newry during the famine.
Yeah, in the 1840s.
In the 1840s.
Sorry, that was so deep.
And it was for emphasis. It was really good.
Oh, thank you.
And it's been owned ever since by this family. And I think you can tell, like, by the name, the Steelers, it's a very kind of blue-collar working class team, or at least historically it was. And I mean, the Rooney family are so involved in kind of our contemporary Irish culture. The late Dan Rooney, who was, I think, the son of the founder, was the Irish ambassador to Ireland under Obama. And this is just something that interested me. This is not relevant to sports, to this podcast, to anything. But
I'm excited for this nugget.
Yeah, thank you. So he also created the Rooney Prize for Irish Literature. So if anyone doesn't know what that is, it's kind of run by the Oscar Wilde Centre in Trinity. But they award, I think it's like €10,000 prize money every year to an Irish author under the age of 40, writing in either Irish or English. And some of the recent winners have been some of my favourite authors. So like Anne Enright, Claire Keegan, Kevin Barry and Mark O'Connell. So these, huge names. And it's such a wonderful prize. It's really prestigious. And I love that somebody would, inaugurate such a positive kind of contribution to contemporary Irish literary circles. So thank you, Dan Rooney, and I will be rooting for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Just because of that?
Just because of that, yeah.
It is interesting though, I feel like the link to Ireland with the Steelers has been made a big deal of the past couple of weeks, and I didn't know about it until this kind of all came around, but it's certainly something they're leaning into, that NFL has a place in Ireland.
Very unlike the Americans to lean into Irish heritage. That's shocking, really. Very surprising.
Has anyone seen the Paul Mescal skit on like Saturday Night Live, where it's this American who walks into a pub and Paul Mescal's like the bartender and he's like, and do you know my granddad? And Paul's like, oh, of course I do. It's so funny.
But the Steelers have been pushing for this to happen for quite a long time. They've been kind of the driving force behind an official NFL game coming to Ireland. So they had a preseason game in Dublin in 1997 where there was a crowd of more than 25,000 who watched Pittsburgh beat the Chicago Bears at Croke Park. And then the Steelers were awarded rights to expand their brand in 23. So they had a debut watch party in Croke Park, which I think everybody saw in 2023 when that happened. Yeah. They have a dedicated Steelers Ireland podcast, which I've never listened to but now kind of want to. And they had free to watch access to the team's 3 preseason games this summer on the GAA streaming platform. Did you know that?
No, I don't follow NFL that closely, but
no, me neither. But I was very surprised that it was. I presume that's GA Plus, is what they're referring to there. Because Clubber is for the lower levels of the.
Clubber is just for clubs, yeah. And GA Go, then it'd be like inter-county.
Okay, there you go. But it's interesting that they managed. Like, we'll be talking a little bit later about the link between the GA and the NFL. But it's interesting that they got NFL games on the GA streaming platform.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of that at all.
Yeah. I mean, it was just their 3 preseason games, but there must be a demand for it.
There is. I mean, when we were speaking to people today, there's like 350,000 American football fans
so they say, yes,
in Ireland. I was surprised at that. Like, I know people follow it, but I got the chance. I became a very quick Steelers knowledgeable person during the week because I got the chance
We're getting really good at that.
Yes, yeah, to meet Max Starks. So he won 2 Super Bowls with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I wanted to know why they come abroad for the games. You know, what benefit it is to them.
I think it's a huge opportunity for the NFL because it gets you out of your normal confines and also exposes you to new cultures, new fan bases, new demographics. And I think, especially for the Steelers, like they hadn't played a game since 2013 abroad. And the fact that they get to come to Ireland and this hallowed grounds and play at Croke Park, I think is just a tremendous opportunity, not only for the guys to understand culture and different places, but I think for organizations to get out there and become more of a global brand and bring the game of American football to the masses.
Yeah, it's funny. That is something I've been wondering all week as well. Like, what is the benefit? Maybe I'm super naive, but it's just so foreign to me, everything to do with the NFL. What is the benefit to them to bring it internationally?
This was my big question as well, because I will admit, I'll sit down in front of pretty much any sport, but I've never really been exposed to the NFL in that kind of way. And the idea of an international game that's a home game in your national league is so alien to, like, if it was to happen in the Premier League, if, for example, if they said, all right, Man United are going to play Liverpool in Los Angeles, there would be uproar, because it's I think Irish and English, I think, soccer teams or GAA, clubs and everything are so inextricably linked to your local environs. Like, it's your local GAA club and it's your local soccer club. Whereas in the NFL, like, teams move. Just like the Pittsburgh Steelers obviously are based in Pittsburgh, but other teams would have been in one location and moved to another one, whether it's for marketing or branding.
Yeah, even the
reasons.
word franchise, like this football franchise, it's not a football club. It's football.
Exactly. So it's pretty much, it's in their culture to travel a lot while remaining at home. So like, this is a Steelers home game, which is just, again, so alien to me.
Yeah. I do wonder, like, how kind of people in Europe feel about it, because again, like, I would have watched football, and I've been to a couple of the games when I've been in the States. I've been to a couple of Packers games because I have a friend from Wisconsin, and I find it relatively entertaining, but like, I would never sit down and keep track of it as someone who lives here. But there are people who do. We were chatting to a girl today, Louise, who's from Scotland. She's just moved to Dublin, bless her.
I was
very impressed. She was very calm. For someone
she was like,
who
we
had
were
just
doing a
moved.
house viewing last week. And it was like, it obviously went very well, because you don't look like someone who's looking for a house in Dublin.
No, and she was strolling around having a great time. So anyway, welcome to Dublin, Louise. But she chatted about kind of the interest in the NFL in Scotland and how she feels about the growth of the international game. I'm just curious, obviously you're already an NFL fan, so you probably love it, but how do you feel about it kind of expanding and coming to places like Ireland?
I really like it. I really like being able to actually go and see the games. Like, the Ravens came a couple of years ago, and I went to go and see them, which was just, like, really fun in London. And so it's really nice to see it, like, expanding, like, across the world.
And do you think it'll create more fans kind of on this side of the world?
Definitely. I think there's a lot of people who kind of don't understand it and think it's, like, really boring and stuff, and then they actually get to watching it and realise that it's not just about the game, it's about kind of, like, spending, like, 3 hours together. And I think it'll kind of catch on a little bit more.
I think that resonated with all of us, the kind of, it's not just about, it's 3 hours of football. It's about the kind of social side and that whole element to the game, which I do understand, because the times I've been to a live game, I don't like watching the sport because I find it's too long and too commercial, and there's too many breaks and everyone's standing around. And I think that's a lot of that's what a lot of people say about the NFL, people who don't watch it regularly. But I did have a lot of fun as an event. Like, they do it extremely well, like Americans do most things. It's big, it's flashy, it's fun. You've got huge beers the size of your head. Like, the whole thing is entertaining. And I can understand from that point of view why you'd want to go.
Yeah, and even the tailgate parties that they do, like, this celebration doesn't start at the first whistle, it starts hours before the game.
I've always wanted to go to a tailgate.
They're doing one in Marion Square, I think, this weekend. But it's like that sense of community, loosely before the event and then at the game itself. But I reckon a lot of the success of NFL recently is down to the red zone. It's on off season for GAA, particularly. It's winter, people are watching TV that's on like Sunday evenings, and you don't have to sit through all of the breaks in play. Like, it's just, you're being bang, 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 here are all the touchdowns. And a lot of Irish people as well go on J1s, so they go to a particular city and
I went
they go
to 2 NFL games on my J1.
Yeah, and like pick a team and then maybe bring that home. And they've got that link to it then, it reminds them of that time.
I do think the red zone is key, like you said. My brothers would watch it. When I used to live with them, they'd have it on every Sunday night. And again, I don't watch the sport, so I wouldn't follow it closely, but it's like watching highlights of any good sport. It's flashy and fast, and it is entertaining.
And I feel like people like the fashion as well. Like, it's not just the game, it's everything around the game. My father will walk around in a Patriots woolly hat around Christmas time and everything. Not because he watches the NFL, he just really likes this hat. But you see people walking around, like, around the city, like, especially this week, with all this merchandising and everything.
That's true.
It's so, obviously there's so many negative elements of the commerciality of it, but they've branded themselves really well to be, it's a day out with your family. It's also something you can watch at home. It's also a fashion brand. It's also this, and it's a million different things. and I think they're clever enough to market themselves in a way to reach as many kind of audience members and paying customers as possible.
Yes, this is true. It is interesting. We were chatting to Henry Hodgson, I hope I pronounced that correctly, today in the NFL Fan Zone, which has just opened in Dublin Castle. And he's the general manager of NFL UK. And he was telling us about the kind of breakdown of the tickets, because this was another question I had. You just said there they've advertised it as like a family day out. But in my head, I was like, it's surely so expensive. I haven't actually looked up the ticket prices.
It's so expensive. I think the cheapest tickets you could get were €250.
Yeah, I mean, that's not realistic for most average Irish families.
No, they were for the tickets on the hill, because you can't have any standing at an NFL game, so they're after like putting seats on it, so they're the bottom of the barrel, like, and that's €250.
So that's just crazy. But he was saying that a third of the fans going to this are American, which makes sense. They must have funds. They've travelled over for it. It's probably a certain class, economic class, I would say. But then a third are from the UK and wider Europe. And then a third are Irish who are going to be going to these games. Now, that surprised me.
In a way, it didn't surprise me for two reasons. One, because you can tell by the fact that there is a game here, it's getting more popular in Ireland. There's people who are going to want to go and watch teams, even if they don't support them. They're going to want to see the spectacle of the event. But nearly more importantly, number two, is that Irish people will pay to see anything. Like, I think we're overestimating the fact that Irish people will just go to watch things. You know? Like, you see Irish people at every event ever on the telly. You know, you're watching the Giro d'Italia and there's a Kerry flag along the way. You know, we're a very proud sporting nation, and you will go and watch any sport, I think. There's an element of that to it.
Yeah, I wouldn't go.
I wonder, does it have something to do with the fact that it's even the time difference? Like, the games can be on quite late of a Sunday evening, and maybe people that watch the NFL in Ireland never get the opportunity to appreciate it live with a crowd. You know, it might be a kind of an isolating sport to watch sometimes, just because of the time difference. And
as I said, like, if you're an NFL fan, which I didn't think there were as many as I've been told there are in Ireland, the 350,000. But if you are an NFL fan, this is a dream.
Yeah, and it's a novelty, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, as we've said, we're probably unlikely to travel as much as maybe some of the NFL fans for games. Like we were saying earlier, you know, I would never go to the States to watch a Leinster game, just because, firstly, probably money, but secondly, like, I can watch them here. Whereas a lot of the American fans, they're creating a holiday out of this, which, to be honest, I think is quite a nice thing.
In a way, I feel like I've been a bit mean to the Americans I've been judging, when I was like, why would you travel halfway across the world to watch the team that plays in your city or whatever?
Yeah.
Or why are people paying to see a game in your league? That's why. But when Leeds played AC Milan in the Aviva Stadium back in August, I went to see that. I'm not a Leeds fan, I'm not a AC Milan fan, but it was a Premier League team playing a Serie A team. I was really excited by being able to see that in, you know, the Aviva, and so I went. Yeah. So I think the opportunity to see what you don't usually get to see is so exciting, I suppose, for evidently a huge cohort of Irish NHL and NFL fans.
NHL. True, and we've kind of spoken about how we've spoken about kind of the Irish interest in it, but what we also wanted to know was, what do the NFL get out of this? I mean, we touched on it earlier, but I think Henry Hodgson, he kind of gives us, I mean, it's always going to be a bit of a standard answer because that's his job, but it was interesting. So this is what he had to say.
We want to put roots down in Ireland. We want to grow fandom for the sport, and that's partly through participation. We have a flag football program that we're launching here, and we think that that's a really important part of what we're doing. We have a new partnership with Virgin Media as a media partner here, and they're going to be showing this game on Sunday, but then also other games through the rest of this season. So that's an important part. I think we want to embrace the Irish players in the NFL. There are 4 guys right now playing in the NFL. We hope that number will continue to grow. That's an important part of, sort of, as you say, generating that interest. I suppose the why is, you know, the NFL is the number 1 sport in the US by a long way, but it isn't a truly global sport, and the ambition is for that to happen.
Should you be doing any scouting at the local GA matches now?
Well, this may be happening right here, right? We've got 4 kickers, I think, in the NFL right now from Ireland. And so we really wanted to embrace that fact. We know that, you know, Gaelic football and rugby and all those sports that have that sort of kicking part to them have encouraged kickers. And you know, some of the guys that are playing in the NFL now from Ireland are saying that it was their experience, obviously playing Gaelic football, I think, predominantly, that got them into the kicking and developed the technique that they needed. So, you know, you never know. Maybe here we'll find the next Irish superstar in the NFL.
Yeah, they had like big posts at the media event we were at this morning, and me and Susanna were really hoping that we get a chance to show off and kick the game, but it was being
Jim
used by the
Flano
children,
was there.
to be fair. So
Sorry,
Yeah.
I just completely interrupted you. But Jim Flano was there doing his kicking. If anybody's seen his kicking across college NFL pitches over the past couple of weeks, pop down to the fan zone. He might still be there. But keep going, sorry.
And yeah, when he spoke about the influence of the GAA, obviously we've got like that leader kicking academy now, like bringing Gaelic players over, because it's cool, like a great opportunity for them to play professional sport, and obviously they have the skills embedded in it. But it also brought up the questions of the link with GAA and this happening in Croke Park, and Croke Park so historically just for Gaelic games. And in 2007 then we had that relaxation of the rule that foreign sports could be played when the Aviva was being constructed, and Ireland played some Six Nations games there. It just shows how far we've come now that there's going to be like an NFL game on in Croke Park.
And they're allowing drink, which is kind of crazy because they don't even allow that at the rugby games.
Oh, didn't know they were allowing drink there.
Yeah, well, I read that somewhere recently.
I'm pretty sure they are. I mean, I'll double check, but I'm
Did
pretty
you not
sure
put that
they
in
are.
the doc?
I did put it in the doc because
I feel I was
read
like,
that we
wait, where did I get this information from?
I was chatting to one of my friends from Germany, and she was astounded that you couldn't bring drink out in the Aviva. We went to watch Ireland-Bulgaria a few monmonths ago, and she was like, I thought you people appreciated drink.
I mean, you can for rugby in the Aviva. That must just be a football
I think
thing.
it must be a football thing.
They don't trust them.
But yeah, it is, that I also found it interesting, the kind of links between the GAA and the NFL, because I think if you look at it broadly, you might think that rugby is slightly more connected because of obviously the tackling, and then the guy who actually founded Leader Kicking, he played for Connacht Rugby for something like 7 or 8 years before he had a shoulder injury that kind of sent him to the States, and then he picked up NFL. Well, he picked up kicking specifically. But from the way people have been talking, it is more linked, or I think they're trying to use the GAA more as an avenue to develop more kickers for the NFL.
Yeah, and I think they're even leaning on the GAA with this NFL game. You hear a lot of people talking, the Americans coming over talking about like, oh, this hallowed ground in Croker. And I suppose they are two sports native to the countries themselves. Like NFL has only played officially there, and Gaelic Games is our game, but it's also come with a good bit of backlash as well. And we put up a post on Instagram, we asked for people's opinions, and Tony said that it's completely anathema to our culture and values. And as another, like the Irish sport for Palestine, David Hickey, he's a Dublin great. He's got all Ireland medals. He also brought up that we have absolutely nothing in common with the NFL as an organisation and a GAA, and that we shouldn't be tying ourselves to them. He said we have no shared values with the NFL or the US. NFL is all about money and it's all about power.
Yeah, which is a complete opposite, I suppose, to the GAA as a non-profit organisation. But there was also on that similar track, we put the question up on Twitter as well. So I just found it, I mean, it's a serious topic, but it was a bit of a funny kind of thread. But our question was, should the NFL be coming to Croke Park? We didn't lean one way or the other. And Philly goes, ridiculous question, F off. But then Joe replied to him saying, couldn't have said it better. However, I will be under the stands for the US national anthem. Philly goes, it's not the first time another country's national anthem has been played there. Joe went, certainly not, but it's not many countries that fully fund and arm a modern day genocide, in capital letters. Now, I think we can all agree that none of us are particularly educated or informed to discuss this topic at length, but it is something we have to bring up because it's something that has kind of not shrouded this in controversy, but has been something that people haven't been happy with.
It's certainly been the major factor that's maybe made me slightly hesitant to embrace it fully coming to Dublin. When you look at like Dublin Castle today and you see this massive NFL flag, and with the current state of politics in America, what's been happening not only in the past year but in the past few years, and then the ongoing genocide in Palestine, which is being funded by the US military, which has links to the NFL. I mean, any organization in America, so many of them are inextricably linked with the military. It's something that's quite, I think, foreign to us.
Absolutely.
From a country which is very proud of its military neutrality. So I feel like it's important that, and I'm very glad and impressed that it's been such a huge point of conversation, like the amount of people that are standing up and talking about it. It's very different to other countries, which, Ireland is very openly pro-Palestine, or has a huge pro-Palestinian sentiment around the country. And I mean, Rachel, you were kind of looking up, there's various informations and protests that are going around this.
Yeah,
I was actually surprised there was not more.
I think they're probably maybe even leading into, it is only, what day is it, Thursday? Like the game's on Saturday or Sunday, I think.
Sunday,
yeah. I'd say outside Croke Park we could see some, but as well as that, you spoke about not being able to separate the two. Rebecca O'Keefe, who is like one of the leaders of the Irish Sport for Palestine movement, she's a former GA player and basketball international. And she brought up a great issue, is that we have to see issues as connected, not separate causes, that you can't separate sport and politics, no matter how hard we try. And especially this summer at all the cultural events in Ireland, be it concerts, festivals and sporting events, you see Palestinian flags. And, on PM during the week, we had, there's a journalist, Dave
Zirin.
Yeah.
He was excellent.
He spoke to Owen, and he was urging the Irish population to bring their Palestinian flags to Croke Park, because this State of America now, that just wouldn't be allowed. They'd be taken off them. They wouldn't be allowed to express those opinions. So there's a whole multifaceted thing going on here with this event in Dublin. Dave Zirin speaks brilliantly on it. Like, if you're listening to this and you want to know more, he's got a piece with Owen Sheehan on PM. He also has a documentary on the NFL's links to the military. So as you said, not our place to be commenting on it, but he's a lot more educated,
informed.
All of the above.
This is his job. Yeah. He talks about that and does all this for a living. And Mick McCarthy, as well, as I was saying, was on News Talk this morning and was talking about trying to. Can you separate the game itself from the league it's in and the politics surrounding that, which I think is always a very interesting question. Then you're asking that with the World Cups that have been happening in the past few years and everything like that. And I'm just glad we're having the conversation, because I feel like in certain other countries that wouldn't be the case, or wouldn't be allowed to be expressed that freely. So I'm glad to see that.
Yeah, true. And it will be interesting to see what happens at the weekend. I saw in an article with the 42 that the former Dublin footballer, Michael Darragh Macaulay, he's part of that Irish Sport for Palestine group.
Yeah.
And he did say there would be pro-Palestine marches outside of Croke Park on Sunday. So I hope it doesn't get in any way, not violent. I mean, I don't think it would get violent, but I hope it doesn't kind of take over. I find it very difficult because, as you said, you can't separate the game, and I love that it's happening, and you're right, we want people to express how they feel, but I hope it doesn't become almost a dangerous environment where you've got two really different angry cohorts of people. And I can see it because in Ireland we're very used to this kind of happening, and we have pro-Palestine marches all the time, and as you said, we have Palestine flags at all sorts of concerts, but in an environment where there's going to be a lot of American fans and maybe people who think differently and who aren't as used to that.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how it all fares out.
Yeah,
really
it will be. And I worry about it slightly, but also, as you said, not in a way that I'm able to talk about it properly. So definitely check out that piece with Owen. But on the flip side of that, so obviously there's negative sides to this, as you said, kind of the GAA versus the NFL, and then the whole kind of connections with the military. But there has been a lot of positive aspects to this as well. And one of them is that we've got a new sport growing in Ireland, I suppose. One that hasn't really been on my radar. And we were chatting to Mike today, and he moved to Ireland from Chicago 4 years ago, and he is playing NFL in Dublin for a team called the Dublin Rebels. And he was just kind of chatting about what it's like to play NFL in Ireland.
Yeah, I'm from Chicago. I live in Dublin, and I actually play for the Dublin Rebels.
What's the mix in your team like here? Is it all Americans or are there Irish people playing?
No, so it's mainly Irish. There's a couple of people from Brazil. There's me, who's American, and then we also have like Scottish. We have some people from like all over the world. So it's unreal, and it is a cool, really nice thing to kind of see around here.
I love that. I love how international this is. Like there is an American sport being played in Ireland, and there is Brazilian people on the team, Scottish people on the team. There's people from all around, and it's something that I really hadn't been exposed to. But then I was interested, and I did a bit of research on the team he plays for, which is the Dublin Rebels, the Ireland's most successful American football team. They've won 10, and I'm going to make sure I get this right because it's very impressive. Shamrock Bowl, that's what it's called. They've won that 10 times.
Like the Super Bowl with the Shamrock Bowl.
Yeah, and it's
clever.
The American Football Ireland, which is the governing body, I mean, it's run entirely by volunteers and it's played by amateurs. So in a way, quite like the GAA.
Yeah.
I love how international it is. I love how multicultural it is. And I'm always a sucker for seeing kind of, people coming together and organising something so big as like a passion project, not motivated by money or fame, but kind of just the sport. I think that's such a good example of this is the sport that's growing and people really, really love it.
Yeah, and it's not the only bit of American football we have growing here. I mean, Rachel, you were telling us about the investment in flag football.
Yeah, so flag football, basically American football, but non-contact tag rugby style, is coming to the Olympics in 2028 in LA. Yeah. And there has been a big push in Ireland to increase the numbers, obviously, ahead of the Olympics, but it is just a great sport in general. I haven't played it.
I've never played it. I kind of want to.
But I feel like, and I know you can't kind of always compare two sports, every sport is different, but surely, Susanna, you should be very good at this, playing tag rugby as you do.
I mean, I've never played for it, but when it was announced that it was going to the Olympics, I did have a momentary thought of, I'm going to the Olympics. Which was outrageous and was quickly shut down. But I've played tag rugby for Ireland, so I was a little bit like, I can throw a.
Oh, we've seen today
American
that you can
football.
Throw the ball. But there's a real push on the flag football in Ireland. Like the NFL flag starter kits were delivered to more than 900 schools in Ireland for students aged 12 to 16. This kind of started.
900 is mad. Sorry.
Yeah, this started back in 2024. So they were preempting the game at this stage, and by 2027 they want to have 50,000 kids playing. And I saw, when we were down in Cork last week, was driving along, there was a school on our left in Middleton, and all the kids were playing with these NFL kits that they'd been given. I suppose you grow up, we watch a lot of American TV here, and you see them playing American football, but it's just something on TV for us. But this now is kind of bringing it right to our doorstep, and you'd have the argument like, oh, do we need another sport like this American sport? But I think
You're always up for more sports.
Always up for more sports, especially when it's non-contact. It might bring others in that mightn't want to play rugby necessarily or GAA,
Yeah. Problematic for me, though, if we've got 50,000 kids lining up to make the Irish team to go to the Olympics.
Yeah, you better get training.
Yeah, you better
increase my competition. But it was funny the way you spoke about kind of, it's something we've watched on TV, because we were at the kind of launch of the NFL pop-up shop the other day, and we chatted to Kieran Jordan, and he's the VP of marketing at Fanatics International. Now, Fanatics are the kind of company that sell all the NFL jerseys and all that stuff. And he spoke a little bit about why NFL is so popular in Ireland, and it has to do with that kind of, we love connecting with American culture in a way.
Are you seeing a mix of American fans that have travelled over for the game and Irish fans as well?
Yeah, today I'd say mostly Irish fans. I think as we get more into the weekend and the Americans start to arrive, we'll start to see more of a mix.
Why do you think that is? What do you think resonates with fans outside of America, with the NFL first of all, and like the Packers and the Steelers?
Well, I think there's a bit of something for everyone in NFL. If you're a sports diehard, it's a brilliant game. It's so engaging, and you can have a lot of fun. But there's also something just cultural. The product looks great. You want to rock that. American culture. Really, you've got it all. So regardless of what type of fan you are or how you want to engage with American football, there's something there for you.
How's Ireland faring in terms of the other European countries that you've had the pop-ups up?
It's huge. So again, we see this on our store. Ireland is number 4 in Europe after all the big countries. So we really punch above our weight in terms of demand for American sport. And I think that does speak to the strength of Gaelic sports, the strength of rugby here. American football is a very natural extension of that. And so people can engage with the game in a way that's very familiar to them. And yeah, that's a big part of what drives the demand here.
This kind of makes sense to me. I mean, I didn't grow up in Ireland, but do you know when you watched movies as a kid and they were always based in America and they had stuff like Hershey's and IHOP and just the stuff you couldn't get here, and it was like the stuff of dreams. And then whenever you went to America, it was like, all I want to do is go to IHOP or like experience this thing that you get to watch in the movies. And I wonder, does NFL have the same impact on some people in that way? It's like, it's big, it's bold, it's a sport that we don't get to watch, and now it's here, it's like in our country.
I feel like there definitely is an element of that. I find it slightly overstimulating is the wrong word. It's so American in that it's very loud and bright and flashy, maybe a bit too much for me. But I can definitely get that sense of it's something that we don't have here just by its very nature. And the fact that we feel like we're one of a special few. Like NFL only really in Europe comes to like London, Berlin, Munich, and I think it's coming to Madrid this year or something, but it's only a couple of countries. So Ireland to be one of them, or Dublin in Ireland to be one of them is pretty exciting.
And just on that topic of it being a bit loud and flashy, we've seen the impact that they've made here in the last couple of days, and we sat here in the studio a couple of months ago saying, why aren't we making a bigger deal of All-Ireland finals and doing fan zones? And now you can't make the comparison directly because obviously is the NFL probably one of the richest sporting organisations in the world, so they have money to pump into it. But I think there's a lot we can learn from how they approach things from like a fan point of view. Like a lot of it, you'd have to tailor it down because it's just too cringy for us as a population, I think. But there is a lot for us to learn into how to engage with a big day event. So it's a great opportunity for us.
Yeah.
You want a big Cork fan zone in the middle of Dublin. Like you wanted that back in
That'd
summer.
be insane.
But just not cringy. Do it with an Irish way.
Yeah. I do. I was walking around the fan zone today and I just felt it's very un-Irish. It feels like we've like transported to, I don't know, Michigan in the middle of Dublin city centre, and that feels weird.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's cool. And I feel like I'm entering a movie in some ways.
Speaking of things that are weird but cool, I can officially confirm you can drink in Croke Park for this game. Officially, that is confirmed. Thank you to Brona, who confirmed that for me.
I mean, there you go. They are kind of breaking barriers, and they're creating something new that we've never had here before. And people are buying into it. I think despite all the kind of controversy around it, a lot of people are excited for this game. And I must say that although we did get some kind of negative comments online, most of the comments we got were people saying, Mark on Instagram, of course it should come to town. The fan base is here and it's a great day out for our fans. Croker has the capacity for these games and has a history with the Rooney family. We also had Tig on TikTok. He said, yes, of course. The sport is huge here and a great chance for us to showcase our famous stadium to the world. So I think people are generally quite positive about this. I mean, there's always going to be negative, and I'm not saying that there shouldn't be at all, but I just do think a lot of people are excited about the prospect of this. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think so too. I'm heading over to London this week, and actually I won't be here for the game because I'm going over to watch Tottenham against Wolves. And the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium being one of the stadiums in England that host NFL. And I've been there, not for a match, but I was there on a stadium tour, like when they were all decked out for the NFL. And it's going to be, I can't wait to see pictures of Croke Park when the whole shebang is ready. It's going to look so different to what we know and instinctively recognise.
I think it's going to look more like when you see concerts there, as opposed to, it's not going to look like a hurling final. I don't think it's going to look more like Oasis in Croke Park as opposed to a sport in Croke Park, I think.
True, but it is still putting it on the map. But either way, so that will be this Sunday. It's the Steelers versus the Vikings. And we will have Off the Ball in partnership with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll have exclusive radio coverage of that game, so you can catch kind of all the exciting updates. And other than that, we're pretty much out of time, I believe. So we will catch you next week with more Word on the Street.
I think they'll go all the way to the final, to be honest. Yeah. I believe in my county, and I suppose they're good at football. They just have to believe in themselves.
I love playing 12, I love playing 10. I love being on the pitch, to be honest.
Are you confident?
Absolutely not.
Ah, no!
Thank you for all the supporters. Thank you for the team. Thank you, France. Merci la France. Merci les baguettes. Merci les croissants. Je vous aime. I love you.